Sitting comfortably, turning your head from left to right, left as you breathe in, to right, left as you breathe in, right, left and right. Come to the centre and just start with your imagination at the base of your chakras, which is at the base of the spine, just below that actually, almost at the perineum level. And just imagine the colours, like colours of the rainbow. At the very base it's red in this colour system. And then as you move up a little bit on the inside of your spine, around the lower abdominal area, it's an orange colour. And then moving again to the navel area, it's a yellow of your choice. It's quite a deep yellow. It's often depicted as a deep yellow. And then moving up to the heart centre, it's either green or pink. And then moving up to the throat, it's blue. So particular love of blue and a reconnection with blue is reconnecting to communication, and you're connecting with your inner self. So it's saying what you're speaking your truth, and it's very connected with the throat area and the Udana energy. And I think in Egyptian mythology, I'm just slightly off my comfort zone here, but the Egyptians used the blue as like a protector at the throat area. And then coming up to the next area is the third eye, which is centre of intuition and a sort of indigo colour. And then the top of the head, the crown chakra, which is where the fontanelles meet. Some people say it's purple, some people like to describe the colour white to it, or a mixture of gold and silver. So choose a colour. And having gone up to the top of the head, now as you breathe in, imagine the breath like a circle going from the base of your toes up the front to the top of the head. And then as you breathe out, it goes from the top of the head all the way down the back, connecting to the toes. Just a circle breath, breathing in to the top of the head, breathing out down the back. And again, a couple of more times in your own time, your own breath pattern. And then just start to sitting up, breathing out round chin to chest. Breathing in, sitting up. Breathing out, rounding chin to chest. And a few more times, breathing in and breathing out, rounding. Breathing in and breathing out as you round chin to chest. And once more, rounding. Come back to a seated position, and then we're going to come, again quite unusually, to lying on the mat and just feel comfortable, stretching the legs out and extend both heels and circle the ankles a couple of times in one direction, and then circle the ankles a couple of times in the other direction. And then extending the right heel, raise the right arm up above you, stretch. As you breathe out, turn your head to the left. Stay here for an in and an out breath. And when you next breathe in, bring your head back to the centre, and breathing out, lower your right arm and relax your right leg. Transferring your attention to the left side as you extend your left heel. Breathing in, raise your left arm up and behind you, stretching along the left side. As you breathe out, turn your head to the right. Stay here for an in and an out breath. Breathing in, bring your head back to the center. And breathing out, lower your left arm and relax your left leg. Once more, circle your ankles in one direction and circle your ankles in the other direction. And then bend one knee and then bend the other knee so that you're hugging both knees into the chest. And just gently rock from side to side. And then bringing your knees to the center, hug both knees into the chest and let both knees drift away to arm's length. Hugging both knees into the chest and let both knees drift away to arm's length. And a couple more times in your own breath pattern. And then gently releasing both feet back down to the earth so that the knees are up to the ceiling and the feet are hip distance apart. Hands can be resting either on the abdomen or palms down as you gently just sway both knees from side to side. And then the head can join in. It doesn't matter which way the head goes, but turning the head also from side to side. And then taking your time to roll over to one side or to roll up, we're going to be coming back onto our hands and knees. And just a very simple cat looking up and cow rounding chin to chest. And again, cat. And then cow. Tucking your toes. Be coming into a very soft downward dog. Feel that you can widen the feet and bring them closer to your hands if you would like. Just walk the dog a couple of times. Stretching out the backs of the calves, backs of the legs. And then begin to walk the feet to the hands to the feet. Bend your knees and roll up very gently, vertebra by vertebra, to standing. Lift and roll your shoulders. And then come in when you're ready to the top of the mat. Inhale, exhale, hands together at the heart center. Inhale, hands up, stretch up, looking either up or straight ahead. Breathing out as you bend your knees, round down, hands either side of your feet, and step your right foot back. Keep it high for a moment, and then lower your right knee to the ground as you slide your left leg back. You're in tabletop. Take time to adjust your hands and your knees. Breathing in, dipping your back, and breathing out, round your back, chin to chest. Tuck your toes and come into a downward dog. Lengthen your spine and then begin to straighten your legs. Your heels don't have to touch the ground. Walk the dog. swaying your hips from side to side. And then bend both knees back down onto the ground, onto the mat. Hands go to the left to give space for your right foot to come up. Hands either side of your right foot. Just allow yourself to stretch into that right hip. So the right knee might come beyond the 90-degree angle, but to put any weight on that foot, come back to a 90-degree angle. And then using your hands perhaps to walk up the right shin, to come to a very gentle mini warrior one option, or a moon pose. And then breathing out, lower your hands and come to place your hands once more either side of your front right foot. Tuck your back left toes, tummy in, perineum engages. Lift your back left knee and step your left foot to your right foot. Hands on the shins as you lengthen your spine in a flat back. And breathing out, bend your knees, bend your elbows. Breathing again as you press your feet down to roll up vertebra by vertebra to standing. And carrying on, raising your hands upwards, stretch your fingers, and breathing out, lower your hands. Inhale, exhale, hands together at the heart center. Breathing in, circle your hands up, stretching your fingers. Breathing out, lower by bending your knees, hands either side of your feet, and step this time your left foot back, keeping it high. And then left knee goes to the ground. Slide your right leg back, you're in tabletop. Cat, cow, as you dip your back. And round your back, chin to chest. Tucking your toes, coming into your downward dog. Feel that you can adjust your feet to be wider and closer to your hands. And you can walk the dog by bending one knee and then the other knee. Stretching back, stretching your legs, and then bending both knees back down to the ground. Hands go to the right this time. Left foot comes up. Hands either side of your left foot. Stretch into your left hip so your knee becomes beyond the 90 degrees. But then to support you, come back to 90 degrees. Feel that you can just shift your left foot slightly to the left if you need this for balance. Walk your hands up your left shin to come to high kneeling and then into your optional warrior one modification. You can look forward. Looking up is also an option. You tend to wobble a bit more. Bring your head back to facing forwards and then bring your hands to either side of your left foot. Tucking your right toes, tummy in. Lift up your right knee and step your right foot to your left foot. Hands on your shins, flat back. Breathe out, soften your knees, and then breathe in, press your feet to the ground as you roll up vertebra by vertebra, standing and hands go up. Stretching your fingers and lowering your hands. Lift and roll your shoulders. Inhale, exhale, hands together. Inhale, hands up. Breathing out, roll down. Step back, right foot high, right knee down, left foot into table. Your cat, and then your cow, rounding chin to chest as you tuck your toes under and come into your downward dog. Walk the dog, feel that you can adjust the feet. Stretch your feet back, extend your legs, and then bend both knees back to the mat. Hands go to the left, your right foot comes up. Hands either side of your right foot. Come to kneel high. And then just open your hands so you're rotating the arms in the shoulder sockets. And then breathing out. Come to place your hands either side of your right foot, tuck your left toes. Tummy in, lift your left knee and step your left foot to your right foot. Hands on the shins, breathing in, lengthen. Breathing out, bend your knees. And then breathing in, press your feet down as you roll up vertebra by vertebra to standing. Stretch your fingers up. Lower your hands. Lift and roll your shoulders and clasp your hands behind your back. Aim the knuckles to the ground, opening your shoulders. Separate your hands. Slide your hands, fingers down backs of the legs to the floor. Step your left foot back and left knee to the ground. Right knee back. You're in tabletop. Just explore coming forward on your knees into up dog. So it opens the back in a slightly different way. And then coming back onto the hands and knees, round your back, come to tuck your toes, and then come to your downward dog. Walking the dog. Stretching back. Both knees to the ground, hands go to the right. Left foot comes up, hands either side of the left foot. And then tucking your toes, lifting up and stepping your right foot to your left. Hands on your shins, lengthening along your spine. Soften your knees, press your feet down and roll up vertebra by vertebra to standing. Arms up. And breathing out, lower your hands. Lift and roll your shoulders. So just raise your right arm and just circle it a couple of times in one direction, and then circle it a couple of times in the other direction. And just notice when you circle if your hips twist or whether they're able to face the front. The other hand, circle a couple of times in one direction and then circle a couple of times in the other direction. Then lift and roll the shoulders and place the fingertips together. Just gaze at your fingertips. Hakini Mudra, it enhances focus and concentration, but it also leaves behind other thoughts that you might have had, so it becomes a mindfulness exercise. You'll often see people doing this if they're trying to think. And then very gently bending your knees. We're going to come back down to a seated position and legs out in a V. And just bounce the legs and just either pat or rub, just to boost your circulation. And then sit up, hands either side of you, turn to your outstretched left leg, and then walk or slide your hands down your left leg. Wherever your hands fall, that's fine. So it's a forward bend, but you're turning over to your left leg. So it's a formal optional head to knee pose modification. Just take a couple of breaths here. Anything involving a forward bend is calming to the nervous system. And then walk your hands up the left leg. Once more, the hands either side. If you want to come into this in a classic yoga way, raise your hands up to touch palms, turn to your right leg, and then fold over your right leg by either folding straight over if you've got a strong back, or if not, bend your elbows to slide your hands down your right leg. And again, you're coming to the right side. So stretching your legs out like this has got benefits, funnily enough, for the circulation, certainly at the back of the legs, but also up for the hips. And of course the legs in that V open or give space at the lower lymph area of the body. Neck is straightened, So calming again for the nervous system. And then very gently walk your hands back up. Touch your hands either side of you to balance you, and then bring your soles of your feet together in Baddha Konasana, which is bound angle pose, or cobbler's pose, or butterfly pose. And here there are so many options. Classically, you would hold at the front of your feet, or you can just use your thumbs to massage the insides of your soles, or you might like to sit more upright and just hold around your ankles, just above your ankles. You'll feel the stretch on the inside of your thighs. Again, you're opening that lower abdominal area. It's supposed to be excellent for replenishing the blood supply to the lower hip area. You've also got supine, so lying on your back, Baddha Konasana. So you can just bounce your knees a couple of times to, it's said to distribute the energy within the lower body, and then just very, very gently support your knees by your hands under them, and then just stretch your legs out. And we're going to come into lying again, but it's going to be a lying twist. So I'm going to lie down, extend my right leg, hug my left knee into the chest, and then roll my whole body, holding the left knee still, over to the right. Still keep my hand on my left knee, or it might slide up to the outer left thigh. And the right, on the left hand, I hope I've made sense there. So I'm rolling over to the right, my right hand's on my left outer thigh, and my left hand is on my left waist. Or you can raise your left hand up behind you, if that works, or open your left hand out to the side like a book. That's very strong. So it's a reclining twist. And really very helpful because your spine is lengthening as you roll over. If you were doing this for any length of time, you would have a support, the bolster underneath your left leg. And the rotation is at the sacral area, the lower part of the spine, or the focus is at the lower part of the spine. And then very, very gently roll onto your back. You might find that you feel slightly twisted from that. So bend both knees, place both feet on the floor, just lift and straighten out your bottom, and then reverse. So we'll be straightening out the left leg, bending the right knee in, holding the right knee into the chest, and then rolling completely over to the left. The left hand holds the right leg, and the right hand goes on the waist, or extend your right hand up above you, or open your right hand out to the right, which I find very strong under the arms. So whatever suits you. And then very gently roll back again. And again, you might like to bend your knees, place your feet on the ground, to press your feet down and just lift and readjust your spine. And then hug one knee in, and then hug the other knee in. And then extend one leg up, holding behind the backs of the legs, and then the other leg up. You might want to clasp your hands. So this becomes like a forward bend, but you're doing it on your back. You can slightly wave your feet from side to side. And if you prefer, you can walk your legs, your hands up your legs and hold your big toes. That's slightly more of a stretch, but again, anything works, whatever works for you. If you're there, just hold your feet your big toes and rock from side to side. But you might like to hold your backs of your calves as well, or you turn your hands round. Whatever works, or just keep holding under your thighs. And then just very gently bend your knees. Place your feet on the ground, hip width apart, knees are bent up to the ceiling. This time open your arms out to the side so that they're like a T, or you can lower them to an A if that's too strong, and just windscreen wipe your knees from side to side, but you're lifting your hips off as you do it. And your head can turn from side to side as well. And then very gently come to the centre. Lower your hands, hug the knees both into the chest once more. Just slightly rock from side to side. And then rolling onto the side to come to once more a seated position. And your legs are out in front of you. Just take the flesh out from underneath your bottom. Hands touch on the floor either side of you. Extend your heels and just bounce your legs. So moving your hands to how it suits you, cross your right ankle over your left. And then take your left hand to the outside of your right thigh, which will naturally encourage you to turn to the right. Your right hand is behind you to support you. Breathing in as you lengthen your spine and breathing out as you turn to the right. Breathing in, lengthen, and breathing out, turn to the right. So this, of course, is a rotation, and this is meant to be a rotation at the navel area, so affecting our digestion, our digestive health, and connected to the samana energy. Breathing in, coming back to the centre, and just perhaps nod forward, sliding your hands down for a couple of breaths to compensate that rotation. And then sliding your hands up, uncross your right leg from your left. Just bang your big toes together, which sets up a vibration in the whole of the body. It's very much a Kundalini movement. And in Kundalini, the view is, or the thought is, that banging your feet together like this, the vibration travels throughout your whole body. And vibration is movement, which is opposite to stagnation. So that's their thought process. And they are quite rigorous about it, so they'll do it about 50 times. But then when you've had enough, just cross your left ankle over your right, lengthen your spine, and just bring your right hand to the outside of your left thigh, left hand down, lengthen your body, and breathing out, turn to the left. Breathing in, lengthen, and breathing out, turn. Your head is the last thing to turn, and it doesn't matter how far you turn, whether it's a little bit or a lot. Whatever's right for you. And then very gently come back to the centre. And once again, slide your hands down your legs, maybe resting at the shins. This forward bend compensates the rotation that we've made. And then sliding the hands gently to come up. And then crossing the legs in a comfortable, easy position. And we'll come back to the breath, Breathing in as you turn your head to the left, and breathing out as you turn your head to the right. And just repeat that, into the left and out to the right. I think I've mentioned before that there is a point in yoga, or there are points in yoga, where you've done certain poses and then there's an invitation to rest slightly, to benefit from the movement that's been made. And this is an option on that theme, to give you a slight rest, to benefit from the movement we've made. And then very gently come back to the centre. So to come to standing from here, the yogic way is highly energetic. It would be, I'm going to suggest we just take it very gently, but you would raise your hands up, slap them on the floor in front of you, and jump back to downward dog and jump forwards to standing. However, I'm suggesting that perhaps slightly come forward, roll your legs to the side, come to tucking your toes and rolling up in your own time to standing. Rolling the spine up, vertebra by vertebra. And then when you're up, lift and roll your shoulders. And set them, just sway slightly from side to side. And then we're going to come into Warrior Two. So feet out in a triangle. I'm turning my left foot in, right foot out. Just feel that as you drop and bend your right knee, that your weight's dropping centrally, arms up. We'll just keep it quite classic. Turn to look beyond the third finger of your front hand. And feel that someone's holding your back hand and just pulling you back slightly. That will take the weight off your front foot onto the back heel slightly, and then just readjust. And then just drop your back hand to your back left thigh. Raise up your right arm and look upwards to the thumb. So again, this becomes a mindfulness exercise as you disconnect the mind from, or the eyes disconnect the mind from the stress centres. And then just come back. Warrior Two again. And lower your hands. Come to have your feet facing front as you then change position. So right heel goes in, left heel goes out. And a Warrior Two again. Dropping your weight centrally as you bend your front left leg, looking over the third finger and beyond into the distance. Feel that someone is holding your right hand, just pulling you back slightly. And then dropping your right hand, raising your left arm and looking up to the ceiling at your left thumb. Again, a mindfulness exercise. And then just breathing out, come back to Warrior Two. And then just lower your hands. Heel toe your feet in, so toes come in, heels come in until you're hip width apart. And then lift and roll your shoulders. And we're going to come into a Tibetan triangle. So raise your right arm by just bending the elbow in, snaking the arm up. Left hand goes on the left thigh. Breathe in as you lengthen. And always keep the arm glued to your ear, or towards the ear, as you tilt it over slightly to the left. You're not going to go very far. Feel that your body's between two panes of glass. Otherwise you tend to twist. And then pressing your feet down, come up. And then you might like to just go over again, just to stretch out on that side. Breathing in, coming up and lowering the right arm. And then left arm comes in, snakes up. Right hand holds the thigh, tilting over to the right. Again, feel that you're not twisting. Perhaps come up and then just very gently come down again. The point of a lateral stretch is quite significant. Breathing in, coming up and lowering your arm. You're stretching all the way along what you call your flank, and these intercostal muscles very much impact on your breathing function, but also you're creating space for all the internal organs. So it really does have quite, and it also stretches out your hips. So if you've done a lot of walking, that you can sometimes impact there. So Patsy's doing a beautiful proper triangle, which is very, very impressive. Would you like to do a triangle, Patsy? A proper triangle?
Down to the ground.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
Go
I was
on
just
then.
trying it.
Okay, so step your feet out. It doesn't matter which way you go, but turn your left foot in, right foot out. Hands up. I'm going to do a modified triangle to start with. So just then come forward over the right outstretched leg. Tilt. Left hand on the waist. That will open your shoulder. Feel that you are stretching along the side. Slide your hand down, and then as and when and if you're ready, keep the shoulder open, raise your left hand. Chin tucks in, and you can either look straight ahead, looking up at your hand, or looking down to the floor. I think halfway, looking ahead is quite nice. And then to come out, often the invitation is to look down at your right foot. And then just to challenge you that a little bit further, Patsy, with your left hand on your waist, soften your front right knee, right hand on the floor. You're going to come into half moon pose. You can use a block, lifting up your left leg if that's an option for you, and then lifting up your left hand and turning, which could really unwobble you. Just look upwards, which I'm not going to do. And then bend your knee, come down, coming up. And coming straight to challenge you even further into the triangle, the other side. And tilt over, right hand goes on the waist. Right hand goes either up or stays on the waist. Feel that your right hip isn't pointing to the ground, that the right hip is opening, which will help if your right hand's on your waist to open up that side. And then to challenge you further, come to place your left hand in front of your left foot, and then lift your right foot off the ground, half moon pose. This is optional, by the way, opening up to the right and lengthening along your spine, and then bending your... I don't think Paula thought she was going to get that kind of challenge today. And then coming up. So as we've gone from side to side, very impressive, Patsy. Showing off your dancing skills, exactly. That's very lovely. So to compensate, just sliding down and just hands on the ground, just perhaps widen your feet, just bending your knee from side to side. And then heel toe your feet in. Bend your knees to roll up. Just lift and roll your shoulder. And this time it's going to be, again, very much modification. Hold the back of your head with one hand. I'm going to hold the back of my head with my right hand. Place my left hand on my waist, top of my bottom. Just lift up and back, so it always becomes a back bend. Press your feet into the ground and just lift up. You're supporting your head almost to the neck with your hand. And then come upright. Release your right hand and reverse so that you hold your head with your left hand and hold your right hand on your right waist bottom. lift up and stretch back. So when you're doing camel pose and you're kneeling upright, this is also quite a nice modification. But you can slow into your back bend, but you're not putting your neck or head at risk here as you go back. And then coming upright again. And just circling the hands upwards, clasping and reversing. And then balance, just lift your heels. If you haven't done the balance, you can, if you've got the balance, additionally slightly lower your heels so that the weight's in them, but they're a millimetre off the ground. Let's explore. And then just release your heels back to the ground and lower your arms and lift and roll your shoulders. Just come to a very familiar swaying from side to side. And then come down to the ground and we're going to come into a half shoulder stand. So Paula and I have got blocks or a bolster. You don't need a bolster, you can just literally come with your legs either up the wall or on. Mine's a bit high, so this could be funny. Just placing your bottom on the bolster and just lifting your hands, your legs up to the air. So, yeah, Paul's got a better bolster for that. Whoa. I'm a bit too high. Yeah. Or you can place your hands under your bottom to lift you up. When you're up, you can just slightly sway your legs in a circle one way and sway your legs in a circle in the other direction. Legs up is very good for hormonal balance, but we won't stay here for too long. You can just very, very gently bend your knees and then bring your feet to the ground. If you've got a support underneath you, then to come out of that, which will be even more fun because mine's quite high, is pressing your feet down to lift your bottom up and slide the support out from underneath you. You can keep the support there. And then you can just knees bent, hands either resting, palms down alongside you or on your abdomen. Just do a couple of pelvic tilts. So flattening the back to the spine, to the floor, lifting the bottom fractionally, and then going the other way so there's a little gap under the spine. And you can actually just lift your bottom slightly into almost a bridge and then roll it down, or just keep to the pelvic tilts. And then once more, just sway your knees fractionally from side to side. And then just either keep your knees bent or knees touching with the feet out, or come to resting for a moment or two just to let everything that we've done settle in the body. Wherever you are, tense your feet and relax and let them go. Tense your knees and relax and let them go. Tense your bottom and relax and let it go. Tense your arms, bring your shoulders up to the ears and then release and relax and let go. And then lift your shoulders up to your ears and consciously lower them away from your ears. And just gently turn your head from side to side. Lift your eyebrows and then just release and relax your eyebrows. And then bring your focus to the breath at the entrance of your nostrils. And just note the quality of the breath as you breathe in and as you breathe out. Subtly different as it goes in and moves out. And then while you're here, take a moment to have a thought for the day. Any thought. And then just let that thought go because you've set the intention. And then mentally take a bow for yourself as you bring your hands together. Just rub your hands together, creating friction. And then place your hands over your closed eyes and open your eyes into the darkness of your hands. It's called palming. And then just very gently smooth your hands away from your eyes and open your eyes to the day. Come back to where you are. And then very gently begin to move fingers and toes and perhaps hug the knees into the chest. Once more rocking gently from side to side. And then in your own time, come to a gentle seated position, taking your time, maybe coming up or rolling to the side. No hurry at all. Take a bow for yourself, once more, hands to the heart, chin to the chest. Have a lovely day ahead and thank you everyone for joining me today.